Hello, and this week I will be recapping episode 3 of Deal or No Deal Island. I will first be providing an overview of the episode, my thoughts on it, as well as future predictions going forward. The episode starts with the confessional of Boston Rob saying that he's gonna try to stir the pot to try to get the target off of him. Rob does this by pretending to get mad at Kim at a joke she made and pretending that she wasn't really joking when she said that, when Rob knew she was obviously joking. Kim sees right through this and says that both Boston Rob and Claudia are full of shit, to which he curses out both Boston Rob and Claudia to Alyssa. Alyssa then goes back to Boston Rob and Claudia and said that Kim cursed them out, which makes both Rob and Claudia want to get rid of her even more. The next morning before the challenge, nothing much really happens. We get a scene of Dawson and Nick bonding, and we see all the remaining players conjuring a plan to try to get Kim out. Everyone was on board with this plan except for Stephanie, and her reason for not wanting to be a part of the plan is because she said in a confessional that she wants to play her own game and not other people's games. For today's challenge, the contestants wore harnesses, where they would then be hoisted up to the canopy of a tree armed with a sandbag. Once Joe presses a button, they will start swinging down and attempt to land the sandbag onto a target, with the target corresponding to monetary amounts present on one of the cases. As per usual, the contestant who gets the highest valued case is immune, while the two contestants with the lowest valued cases will be up for elimination. On top of that, there are two steal targets where, if landed, the contestant can choose to steal one of the other player's cases. At first, the plan seemed to be going flawlessly as Kim only scored $50,000, which kept her in the bottom two. The plan takes a sudden U-turn when it's Stephanie's turn and she ends up dropping her sandbag on one of the steal targets. Stephanie then reveals in a confessional that she didn't want the steal because she didn't want to get on anyone's bad side. When asked about which case to steal, she originally wanted to take Boston Rob's $1 million case because that was the highest valued case out of everyone there. To which everyone else starts to get mad at her and say that she's screwing up the plan by doing that. In the end, Claudia ended up taking one for the team as she offered to take her case so that she could play Deal or No Deal against the banker. The plan ends up going from bad to worse when it's Aaron's turn and he ends up landing his sandbag on the $45,000 target, which is low enough to knock Kim out of the bottom two. For tonight's game of Deal or No Deal, Claudia did what she said she was going to do and played Deal or No Deal against the banker. In the end, Claudia had only 3 cases remaining, with those 3 case values being a penny, $175,000, and $500,000. She ended up taking the deal to an offer of $180,000, where it was then revealed that her case had the $500,000. This meant that she made a bad deal and that she was eliminated from the game, making this the first instance on Deal or No Deal Island where the contestant ended up making a bad deal. As for what I thought about this episode, I just have to say that this was my favorite episode of the series so far. Why I consider this episode to be my favorite is because I loved the drama that was present in the episode, such as Kim cursing out Boston Rob and Claudia, Alyssa's savage remark about Stephanie being hesitant to go with the plan and wanting to steal Boston Rob's case, where she then said one of my favorite lines in the series thus far. I just wonder if she gets tired of getting up every morning and putting makeup on her two faces. She could try eating the makeup instead, and she might at least have a chance of being pretty on the inside. And I just loved how savage that quote was. I also like the underdog story Kim had in this episode, as it seemed like everybody wanted her gone, but due to a few screw-ups such as Stephanie landing the steal and not going with the plan, as well as Claudia losing tonight's game of Deal or No Deal, she was able to stay in the game. I was also mesmerized on how Boston Rob was able to rally everyone up to get Kim out. It shows that Boston Rob still has it after all these years. And the funny thing is, some of them watched Survivor and know who Boston Rob is, and yet they still want to work with him anyway. It's almost like, how does he even do that? Like, what is his secret? My only problem is, we didn't see anything from Amy, Nick, or Miranda. It seems like those 3 people have pretty much been invisible this entire season, and I'm wondering when we're gonna actually hear from them. But this episode makes me very excited to see how this Boston Rob-Kim rivalry is gonna settle in the future. As for my predictions going forward, I feel like Rob failing to get out Kim this episode kind of mirrors on how Boston Rob failed to get out Russell in the episode where Tyson went home in Survivor Heroes vs. Villains. Why I believe this to be the case is because after Russell blindsided Tyson, Rob lost the numbers and ended up going home instead. And I feel like the others can start to see through Rob's manipulation and start to target him instead. But enough about what I have to say. What do you think of the episode? Would you say that this was your favorite episode of the season? Did this episode make you more excited about how the rest of the season is going to play out prior to watching this episode? What did you think of Boston Rob's performance in that episode? Did you think Claudia made the wrong move by sacrificing herself to play Deal or No Deal against the banker? Feel free to leave your takes in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.